Welcome to the Fashion Masterclass. I'm Angela Taylor-George, and on this channel, we take a deep dive into all things fashion. I will share with you all the tips and tricks and insider secrets that I've learned over 4 decades in the industry. I'm super excited to share with you that on today's episode, this marks the first of a series on how to start a fashion brand. And I know many of you want to learn how to do that. So I do want to thank everybody that tuned in before and jumped into the Facebook group and left comments and liked and shared and subscribed the channel. I want to thank you all very much for coming back, and I want to welcome anybody that's new to this channel. So class is in session. Let's dive in. So today we're talking about how to start a fashion brand. And the first thing is, what is this thing that I want to make? Like, what am I doing? What is it that I want to create? What is it that I want to say to the world? I know I speak to many designers and entrepreneurs, and they're creative and they want to create and they get excited. And I guess one of the, let's talk today, what I'd like to talk about is really the first in the series would be, the concept and concepting a brand. So I think what's important is to know what it is you're doing, why you're doing it. Does it serve a purpose? Is there a need? Does it solve a problem? I mean, those are some of the things that you want to ask yourself. Why is what I'm creating, why does the world need what I'm creating? That's the question. And what I always do when I'm deciding, I have Alice and Trixie, but through the course of 22 years, we did launch other brands in that time. And we had launched a pant line called Jack. We launched a knit top line called George. We launched a date top line called November 4. So we did launch multiple brands. So I have launched multiple brands in that period. And whenever I did it, it was because I thought that there was a need or a want for this product. So I think the thing is to understand why I'm doing this, what am I doing, does the world need it? So usually what I would coach somebody to do if they're starting a brand would be to, who are you competing with? Is there anybody in this space that exists already? Is there any, you might be like, no, nobody, this is brand new. Nobody has this, okay, that's one thing. I don't know. Maybe it's not there because there's no need for it, or it's not there because it hasn't been done yet. I think more often the question is like somebody wants to do something, they want to express themselves creatively, and the thing is that there are niches that you will fall into and markets, and by virtue of the price point, by virtue of the fabrication, by virtue of the market, whether you're doing like a dressy line or an athleisure line or a casual line, and usually there are already players in that space. Like you might see a line and you might say, I don't think in casual anybody's doing amazing, and I'm making it up, like chambray shirts. I'm just making it up. Like I love a chambray shirt. All my friends love chambray shirts, and I don't see them out there. And I think that's amazing. So, but I think the thing is to look at, who else might be doing shirts in the category. I don't want to name names, but I could think of names of people that I would check, to see what they were doing that could potentially be, could be my competition. The idea is to assess, is there competition for what you want to do? And who is the competition? Where are they selling? What is their price point? Because the last thing you want to do is launch a product and, and basically, come out with a product and have failure to launch. Because somebody's like, I already have this, or I already get this from XYZ. I don't really need this from you. So it's not, it's not always, yes. I think there is like, you can make like the better thing. Like that definitely does exist. But I also think it's a little bit more of a shoo-in if you're making like the different thing that you feel doesn't exist, that people do want, that people will want the different thing that doesn't exist versus like the newer and the better. But again, I'm not going to say newer and better doesn't work, but when you're doing newer, better, you do have like this, there's a barometer there. There are brands out there that are doing the thing that you're doing newer and better. So you're going to have that, that kind of competition still. And it's a little bit, you're going to have to work just a little bit harder to prove why you're better, that type of thing. So unless it's like something crazy, like when you're talking about like, what was it, like Gillette, like razors, or whoever like was the king of the razor industry, and then Dollar Shave Club came out. Like that was like newer, better, like disruptor, like that was like amazing. Yes, it was the same thing, but yet it was like less expensive. It was delivered to your door. It was, like whatever, and the branding, like whatever they had that made it like so new and so much better that it was like just a shoe-in. There, if that's that, then that's great. If it's something like that, my hat's off to you. But just the basic newer, better, you just want to be careful and just like make sure that you're not like just throwing more product in a market that's already saturated, basically, where there's not a lot of room to grow. So what I normally do is I'll like, again, like who is my competition, shop the stores, see who's doing what this might be, and then again, so basically assessing if there's a need for it. That's number one, to really assess if there's a need for what you're doing. Also with the concepting is like, who is my customer? Like my ideal client avatar, like who is my customer? Who is my ICA? Like who is this person? And these days it's like you really have to dive deep into who this person is. Like, what does she do? What does she do on the weekend? What does she do? Where does she go on vacation? Like, where does she work out? Does she work out? What movies does she like? I heard someone say recently, like, you need to be able to finish their sentences. I mean, that's like a tall order, but I've heard that. So you really have to understand who this customer is. And that way you can, market to this person because you know who she is. Another thing I just want to say is, what I've seen is sometimes people think their customer, like they have this aspirational customer that is fictitious. Like it's an aspirational customer. It's a customer that they want, but their product really isn't gearing toward that customer, or that customer isn't receiving. Like I have a friend who has a product and it's gearing toward one group, but he wants a different group. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he has to market that much more, who is the group that's really responding to your product? And so it's really understanding who that customer is and drilling down deep to find out who that customer is. And then also, I want to, like a myth buster, I just want to, because while you're concepting, it's super important that I break this myth, is that you don't have to project runway it. Like you don't have to make the pattern, cut the pattern, sew the pattern, and send it down the runway. Like you don't have to do all of that. Like that's a myth. You could have a design and then you could outsource patterns to be made. You don't have to know how to do everything in this industry. In fact, it's even better if you're outsourcing it, because that way you could be doing other things that are, like, okay, this is what we're making, have the person make it, but you need to be, jumping onto other things with the marketing and, many other things that go into, because I mean, really the concept and creating, knowing what the concept is, deciding what it is just really the very beginning, and that's the base. So I think I would love for you, if you do have an idea, to really kind of consider what I'm saying, do some research. Price point as well. Price point is something you really have to look at, because if there are people making things out there that they can bring home at a much lower price point than you, like that could be an issue too. That could be a barrier to entry into the market. Price is really important. And I understand maybe you're making something that has a higher quality fabric or higher quality finish, and I get that. But at the same time, sometimes, depending on the product, customers, aren't necessarily looking for that. So it's something you really need to, there's a lot, I just say research. And when I say, I'm going into stores physically, doing online shopping, those are the way to research the products out there. So what I'd love for you to do this week is refine. Jump into the Facebook group. If you have any questions, I could respond live in the Facebook group. Drop down into the comments. Once again, subscribe, like, share, do everything with this video, because everybody needs to know about this stuff. And next week, we're going to dive deeper into this, how to start a fashion brand. We're going to go to the next step. So look forward to seeing you next week. And also Chloe, my little teaching assistant, she looks forward to seeing you too. So enjoy your week, and I'll see you next week where we continue how to start a fashion brand. Super psyched. And share this video. Spread the love. I just said it. Now that I know because I said it. I said it. Bitch, please. I'm from downtown. Okay. Are we good?